All right, so thank you, Cassie, for the first question. So those of you that didn't see it, she's working on her split, and she asked about hamstring tightness with her hurdle, straddle stretch, which, to the best of my knowledge, is where you're working on getting your leg out to the side and getting side to side. Now, obviously, I don't do the splits, but this is kind of what she's working on here. She says, "Why do I have so much tension and tightness in my hamstrings with that when she can get into the butterfly position, which is this, and get her knees all the way to the ground? And how can she work on that?" So there's a few things to look at. So these are a little bit different stretches. The butterfly stretch is more for your adductors, which is the inside of your thigh here. Whereas what I assume is your straddle stretch is more of a hamstring stretch for you, since your adductors are flexible. So there's a couple of things we need to look at. There's a few reasons why we would have extra tension in our muscles. One is you just haven't had enough time under stretch to move into that motion. So kind of look at how your programming has been, and have you spent more time on your adductors versus your hamstrings. Second is we got to think about the other tissues in the area. So we do have certainly the muscle. We have the connective tissue over top, the fascia and the skin, but we also have nerves that run through there. And a lot of times, because of our sedentary lifestyles, we sit so much, we do have some adhesions or even some lack of flexibility of the nerves. So there's a little test that you can try for this. Typically we do it sitting down. It's called a slump test. And you're going to start at the top. You're going to slouch. Then you're going to bring your chin down to your chest. And in that position, you're going to extend your legs, okay? And what we're looking for is that similar sensation, that tight stretch, that zing down the leg, to look for any tension in the muscle of the nerves, okay? To tension that even more, we'll pull our feet in the dorsiflexion, which is to bring our toe up this way. And that's really tensioning the system. Now for me, mine is very tight. If I get down here, I feel that already, and I haven't even done anything with my legs. My knees are straight, and I haven't really tucked my chin at all there. So you got to think about the nervous system as being a rope, okay? We got one end here, and then we got one end down at our toe, but we also have kind of a splice there. So when we go to try to stretch both directions, both legs out, we are pulling that rope on both ends. So if there's any type of tension in the system there, you may feel some tightness there, and our body protects our nerves because they're so important, and we'll have a tightness of the muscle area there. The hamstrings are very common for that. So assuming that is clear, and we've kind of looked at our stretching regimen, the other thing to look at is, are we getting the soft tissue around the muscle moving very well? And that's with a foam roller. So I'll have some links on here to my YouTube videos of how to foam roll the thighs, if that's more helpful to you. Now the other thing to think about is sometimes our body just doesn't want to get there. We want to use some tricks to get the muscle to relax. And one of those is contract relax. So I'm going to stand up and show you one variety of those. Okay, so again, I don't have the best hamstring flexibility, so I'm going to start here on this post. For you might look into something like a parallel or chair, okay, something that you can really get that foot up on, okay. Ballerinas use those bars to work on their flexibility and mobility, so you may look into some of these. I can provide you a link to these if you're interested in them. Okay, so while I'm here, we're going to do it. So what I'm looking for is I'm going to contract my hamstrings, okay, either by hooking my heel there and trying to bend my knee, or by pushing my leg down into the floor. Okay, so I'm contracting these muscles, and what we're looking for is we're looking to actually get them to contract and fatigue a little bit. Okay, and then when we relax, we'll go into a stretch. Okay, so I have a very, very strong stretch there for me right now. And I'll come off of it just a little bit, take the tension off, and again, I'll push again. Okay, and then stretch. So if you watch my trunk here, you might be able to see a little bit of difference. I'm pushing down. Okay, very strong stretch for me. If I were to pull my toes up, my neural tension would kick in. Okay, you might see my leg shaking a little bit there. Relax and stretch. Okay, so even in this just position, we may have gained about 10 degrees. Now it doesn't make a lasting change just by the self. Okay, we will want to do some things to improve the motor control of this new range of motion. So again, there's the last one there. Okay, All right, and some things that we can do for that is single leg deadlift. Okay, so really stretching into that range of motion, having to control the new range of motion. Okay. Now for you, it might be going into the splits. So those are some different things to try. Again, there may be some very nuanced things that you need to look in for that, but just let's kind of recap here. Look at your stretching program. Have you given enough time and repetition into that position to gain the length there? Some of the soft tissue, so doing some foam rolling, some massage type things to the muscle will help kind of warm up the area, get the connective tissues moving for the stretch. Checking our neurotension with the slump test. I can show you some ways to work on that if that is a positive. And then using contract relax methods to get that muscle to relax to allow a little bit easier stretch. And then moving actively through that range of motion to really solidify this new range of motion and control of it for our body. So I hope that helps. Give those a try. I'd love to talk to you more if there's any other questions.